Good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to record this video because I had shared the message I want to share in this video with one of our group members, one of our challenge members earlier today, and it got me thinking. Well, if that's something I'm sharing with her, then that's something that a lot of other people need to listen to, and that's the issue or the thought of less is more when it comes to health and fitness. We hear that phrase a lot in society. Less is more. And I know in the newspaper industry when I was involved in it, less is more was better. If you could say something in 300 words as opposed to sharing the same message in 500 words, then you're doing a really good job. You're keeping it clear and concise. But in health and fitness, it doesn't ordinarily work that way. And here's the message that I shared, is that when you're adding in the physical activity that you're doing more now than you were doing previously before you started this challenge. And the idea is the more you ask of your body, the more you demand of your body, the more your body is going to demand of you. So, for example, if you were eating 1,200 calories a day previously and you were leading a more sedentary lifestyle, to now add 3 workouts a week, cardio, walking, biking, anything and everything you want to be doing, playing golf, doing swimming, hiking, whatever it may be. Now you're doing more than you were previously. There was more physical activity involved in your life than there was previously. What does that mean? That the body now needs more. So you can't maintain that 1,200 calorie daily pace that you were maintaining when you were living a more sedentary lifestyle. So now you need more. So what does that do ultimately? Ultimately, what that does is the more we feed it, the more your body burns it, because it's getting used to getting more now. Your body's growing accustomed to, hey, I'm getting fed much more than I used to. So now I got to burn it because I now know more is coming. I'll give you a couple of examples. One that I didn't share in the original message, and one that I will. One is I use the analogy of a coal furnace. If it's middle of winter and it's cold, and you have a coal furnace at home, and I know nobody really does to my knowledge, but just go with me here. If you're feeding that furnace, it's going to keep you warm. It's got the fuel to make sure it's burning properly and keeping you warm through those cold winter nights. If you suddenly decide to start taking some of that fuel away, if you start starving it for fuel, what's going to happen? It's going to start slowing down. The burning process isn't going to be quite as strong, and you're going to be cold on those cold winter nights. The analogy that I shared was, I don't know if it's an analogy, I'm just using that term now willy-nilly, but when I lived in upstate New York many moons ago, it was the first time I was out on my own living in a different town, different part of the state. My parents would come up once a month to stock my fridge. Now, here's the thing. They would stock it as if there were 5 people living in that apartment, not just little old me. So there's just no way in the course of a month that I could eat all that food, in time for them to bring more the following month. So I would invite friends of mine over from work. Hey, come on over, let's eat the inventory. We had to clear out space for the new stock of food coming in that month. Same thing here. If your body knows that you're going to feed it consistently, you're going to give it the healthy, nourishing foods that you need on a more consistent basis than you had previously, it's going to start burning more because it knows more is coming. Once you start taking it away, that metabolism starts to slow down, the body starts storing for a rainy day, and that's when you start gaining weight. So that's the idea of less is more. Doesn't really work. In many cases, and I've been doing this now almost 5 years, but I can also even harken back to the start of my health and fitness journey, where back then I thought I was eating too much, when in fact I wasn't eating anywhere near enough. Now, was I making healthy choices with what little I was eating? No. It was a lot of fast food and just a bunch of crap. But if I had to venture a guess as to how much I was eating back then compared to what I'm eating now, I was probably right around 1,200 calories at nearly 250 pounds. It's not a whole lot of fuel. It's very little fuel, actually, for somebody of my size at that time. Now, to give you a basis of comparison, I'm at 2,700 calories at 190 pounds. So you're talking, 60, I'm doing the math, 60 or so pounds, 60, 65 pounds below where I was back then. And I'm more than twice as much in the calorie department. It's striking, but that's how it works. The more you do, and I'm very physically active, both working with clients and on my own and being with family, I need more fuel. That's just how there is to it. And now that you're all doing the work that you're doing and really starting to ramp things up and becoming much more physically active, your body's going to demand more of you as well. And you're going to find as you move forward, the more you're eating, the more you're consistently nourishing the body with good, healthy, whole foods, and the more physical activity you're doing, your metabolism's going to go up. But the other thing that's going to go up is your appetite. That's going to go up too. I know with my own coach, I was at 2,400 calories when I started with him. Recently, we changed to 2,700 because I was adding coaching my son's soccer team into the mix. And I'm not one to stand on the sidelines and just stand around and coach. I'm out in the middle of it. There's going to be a lot more physical activity involved in there. Already is. In one practice alone, hour-long practice, I walked 6,000 steps. Walked, ran, jogged, did all that. So 6,000 steps in an hour. Imagine what that would be over the course of a day. So now I'm even more physically active than I was prior to starting the coaching season. So we need more fuel. So we added 300 calories into the mix, which equates to about a meal, an additional meal. I spread it out over the course of the day, but that's basically what it comes out to, 300-400 calories. But I had to, if I was going to ramp things up, I had to give my body the nourishment it needed to allow me to ramp things up. That's what it comes down to. So you're going to find yourselves wanting to eat more, not feeling like you're gorging yourself as much. Because I know making that transition is tough. That's why I say build up incrementally. Don't go from this number to that number in one fell swoop. Build up in steps, in stages. But you're going to find yourself that much more hungry as you move forward as well. So keep up the great work. Let me know if you need anything, but keep in mind, less is more. Kind of take that out of the equation. Just think about making healthy choices, making sure you're giving your body what it needs, not waiting till you're hungry to eat, and making sure that you're utilizing that fuel to the best of your abilities, which comes with eating the proper amount, and you each have your own caloric intake plan, and making sure the majority of the choices that you're making are good. And one other thing that I actually shared in that same message, don't worry about looking for, I know there's a lot of stuff out there like protein cookies and protein chips and protein this and protein that in snack form. Are those necessarily bad? No. Are they necessarily better than the traditional versions of those cookies and chips and other snack foods and so forth? No, not really. They're just, nowadays it just seems like you slap the word protein on something and then it's magically healthy. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I tend to lean towards it isn't. So I would much rather, if you want to have a cookie once in a while. One cookie here and there is not going to derail, the process. It's not going to take you off course. A bag of chips isn't going to take you off course in the grand scheme of things. But what it does, and I do this, I had a cheeseburger just the other night. Friday night, went out to dinner with my wife, had a cheeseburger. But I got back right on my routine right after that. Next meal, bing, bang, boom, we were back on it. That's the goal. Don't deprive yourself. Enjoy what you enjoy every once in a while, and then get right back on it, right back on your plan. You're going to find yourself doing better because you're not depriving yourself of the things you love. Because let's face it, life is still worth enjoying. Of course, life is worth enjoying. So why would we take the foods out of it that we enjoy? We're just not relying on those as our main source of nourishment. That's all that is. That's all that is. It's just working smarter, not harder. Appreciate you listening in. I know I'm a little long-winded, but I hope this helped you out. Have a great rest of your day.